everyone, and welcome to The Reaction, a video sponsored by The Morning Watch at Michigan State University. My name is Chrissy Clark. I'm the editor-in-chief here at The Morning Watch. And today I wanted to react to two things in specific. I want to talk about the post-midterm hysteria, and I want to talk about civility in America, which is a big topic for everybody this week because there have just been a few incidences, and we'll get to that later. So right now I want to talk about one of the biggest post-midterm, it's Tuesday, everyone. It's still a tongue twister of a day. But anyway, so Democrats are kind of throwing a little bit of a tantrum in Florida. And that's not to say every Democratic voter is doing that. I'm just saying it's really interesting. I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and saw this tweet by Marco Rubio, and I wanted to share it with you guys. It says, he said, Florida law requires counties report early voting and vote by mail within 30 minutes after polls close. But in Democratic counties such as Broward County and Palm Beach County, 43 hours after the polls closed, they were refusing to disclose how many ballots they had counted, and I want to make sure I get this right, and how many ballots were left to be counted. So before I was actually scrolling through my Twitter feed, I was reading about Russia collusion and kind of the new Attorney General thing that's going on if you've been following the news. And I was getting a really kind of a good laugh out of it. I was like, wow, we do not even need Russians to interfere in our elections. We have Democrats in Florida to throw a fit for us. So I was just getting a good laugh about it. Figured some of you guys would kind of get a good laugh about it too. And I guess this could really happen on either side of the aisle, and this isn't to say that Republicans never do this. I just thought it was really interesting, and also if you look at Arizona right now with Martha McSally, who's a Republican, and Kyrsten Sinema, who's a Democrat, Kyrsten Sinema is up, and it's a really contested, just as close race as Florida, but you don't see Martha McSally throwing an absolute tantrum. You don't see the Republican Party throwing a fit because the people have voted and spoken their mind. It's just about making sure that it's all voted accurate or counted accurately, which I completely understand. It doesn't matter which side of the aisle, our ballots deserve to be counted correctly. But it's just really interesting that they're throwing this big of a temper tantrum. And this isn't to point out regular Democratic voters. I do want to add that there are plenty of Democrats that watch this podcast. Hey. And they're really awesome, wonderful people that I'm friends with. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's like the Democratic elites that think that it's okay to promote this kind of activity. But there's somebody on the right that I want to talk about who did a really awesome job at taking his position of power and turning something that was a really bad situation into something that was really good instead of, throwing a temper tantrum about it. And his name is Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw. He's now a congressman-elect in Texas's 2nd District. And last week, Pete Davidson, yes, Ariana Grande's ex-fiance, he was on Saturday Night Live, where he works. I guess that was stupid of me to say. But he made a joke about Crenshaw. It was a really poor joke, and he owned up to it, and that's awesome. But he was making fun of the eye patch that Crenshaw wears. Crenshaw, I believe, got that eye patch from his third tour, and he hit an IED and ended up getting his eye blown up, which is absolutely terrible, and we should be applauding him for his service, not making fun of him for wearing an eye patch. But despite that, I just want to talk about the way that Crenshaw handled the situation, which was absolutely amazing. The reason it stands out to me is because I feel like in every single one of these situations, it's super, super easy for us to just run to the liberal media or run to the conservative media and go our own ways and kind of complain and be like, look at how terrible and liberal SNL is. But instead, Crenshaw actually took that opportunity to talk about civility, to talk about forgiving one another, to talk about accepting people for having different ideas. And he said it in a really humorous way, which I actually think kind of connects with voters way better than going on Fox News would have for him. So shout out to him. If you haven't seen the video already, I'm going to link the official SNL skit below so that you can watch it. It's 4 minutes long. Super funny. Totally made my day when I watched it. But I was actually having a conversation about this with a friend, and we were discussing the idea that maybe Dan Crenshaw should make a run for the Senate after Ted Cruz, because obviously the race was really contested in Texas, regardless that Ted Cruz won. It was really close. And, you know, Dan Crenshaw kind of just reminds me of Beto O'Rourke and the fact that he has that charm to him. So he's almost like our Beto O'Rourke of the right. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what he does and where he goes from here, because it was just really unique of him to react in the way that he did. But regardless of kind of the good civility that happened, I do want to take a step back and talk about the example of some of the bad things that have happened. One of the first ones is what happened with Tucker Carlson's daughter. So if you haven't heard about this, Tucker Carlson is a Fox News anchor, and his daughter and him were, I think it was his daughter, his friend, his son, and himself were all sitting at a table at a restaurant, and his daughter and her friend went to the bathroom, and on their way back, she was actually called the C word by some complete random for sitting with Tucker Carlson. And that's her dad. I don't know why she has to be called the C word in order to sit and have lunch with her dad, which is just terrible. And then also Kat Timpf, another Fox News anchor, or she's not an anchor, but she's a Fox News contributor. She had a liter and a half of water just completely dumped on her before she was about to give a speech in New York City. And when I heard about these incidences, you know, my mind immediately flipped to like, okay, these really aren't bad comparative to like the bomber that we had. And like he was sending bombs to, or bomb packages to Obama and Biden. And I think it's just really important to address all of it as a whole, that whether you're, you know, obviously sending bombs is worse than throwing a cup of water on somebody. It really is. But regardless, these acts of terror are being done, or I mean, I don't know if I would really call throwing water at somebody an act of terror, but it's just wrong and really, really rude. But regardless, it's just a good reminder that, you know, politics is not more than a human life. It's just not. And when people talk about Republicans and then they talk about Democrats, I rarely feel like people are talking about like, you Republican, you Democrat, you as an individual person. It's more so about the Republican and political and Democratic elites that are actually running the country. But even then, those people that are doing that are still human beings. And these people take to heart the insults that you have to say, and they take to heart having water thrown at them and being called the C word. And I guess I just wanted to take this opportunity and the platform that I have to remind you guys that we can vehemently disagree about policy. That's great. I really like disagreeing about policy. I think that's the reason I'm still in college to this very moment, is because I love going to class and disagreeing and arguing with professors. It's really fun, but it's a very civil way of going about it. And I make videos, and I write articles, and I read books and then talk about them with other people. That is a really good way to go about the problems that you have with the other side. It's the beginning of the week, and I just wanted to give a reminder to all my wonderful viewers out there that calling people the C word and throwing water at them or creating bomb packages or threatening people is not going to stop other people from thinking the way they think. So instead, if you want to do some actual good in the world, I would recommend that you learn something from other people's ideas and have a civil and educated discussion with people about ideas and policies instead of getting up in arms about it. And that's just one girl's opinion to the rest of you guys. But anyway, if you liked the video this week, please subscribe to The Morning Watch and follow us on Twitter at watch_morning. And you can follow myself at Chrissy Clark_. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you have any comments, please send them through Twitter, Instagram, my email. I think there's a comment section on themorningwatchmsu.com, so feel free to leave it there as well. But that's it. So yeah, from East Lansing, Michigan, I'm Chrissy Clark.